What is legacy? In the Broadway show Hamilton, they say it's planting seeds in a garden you never get to see. That's me. I am my ancestors' wildest dreams, living at the epicenter of hope and discovering just how great I can be. I am the answered prayer, the almost realized dream. I am Charlize Levine Supriya Martin, your Liberian American Princess, and this is the LAP Podcast.
Go Liberia. I wanna go Liberia.
Why am I the answered dream? I come from a long line of pastors. My daddy's a pastor, his daddy was a pastor, and from the long Baptist tradition that exists in Liberia. For context, Liberia, West Africa, is so Baptist that our Constitution is in a Baptist church. And that Baptist church, my grandfather was the Sunday school superintendent for, and he was also the international vice president of the Baptist Convention in Liberia. And what is a pastor's main job as far as their duty goes? Is to tell the gospel, to bring it out to all ye nations. And that's what my grandfather did. That's what my father does. And I continue on that rich legacy of storytelling. I have a different medium than them, though. I don't speak, even though I have a podcast. I don't preach. I dance. So, how did we get here? Growing up Liberian American, I'm first generation. I grew up having a great understanding of the rich culture that I come from, but I still have a different background from my ancestors, being that my experience is uniquely American from the rest. And being a Black American shaped me and my upbringing just as much as being Liberian did. So I live with and I deal with, and I have grown up with the knowledge that the things that are so readily accessible to me have so much to do with the fact that I am American. I couldn't have dreamed of being a dancer if I was in Liberia. I couldn't have had access to education in the same way that I do here in America. I wouldn't be able to have such easy access to culture, education, to different experiences had I not grown up here in the US. And that has shaped me entirely of who I am. I went to Catholic school my whole life. That's another fun fact about me. I ended up in Catholic school because my dad has this thing of making friends with everyone. And he was working a funeral with a priest, and they got to chatting it up. And Father Ryan took a liking to my dad so much that he asked him, "Hey, do you have any kids?" My dad said, "Yeah, I do. I have a daughter." And he's like, "Why doesn't she join my school?" And I joined Pope John Paul II Regional School that following year. And I have gone to Catholic school from second grade all the way through high school. So the Catholic school that I went to was diverse. A lot of first gen kids like me, some Liberian, some Nigerian. What differentiated my experience from middle school to high school was that I went from a diverse community to a situation where I was the only Black girl in a lot of the spaces in my high school. In a graduating class of 200 people, there was 5 people that were Black. So it was a bit of a culture shock for me. And I think that what saved me and my experience was that I became a debutante for the graduate chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And I ended up having a completely different culture shock from my high school experience, because my only real community with Black people were the Liberian community. I hadn't had really grown commonality between other Black Americans really like ever since middle school. So it was extremely healthy for me to have those connections and to grow within those communities and to have that experience that I got to have as a debutante with Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And that's why I decided to become an alpha woman when I went to college. I was the first Black girl to graduate with a BFA in dance from Hofstra University, and I graduated in 2022. And I immediately started auditioning for dance companies. And I auditioned for a total of 100 companies that first summer. And I got callbacks for some. I got into the latest audition rounds for some, but I didn't get picked to go to anywhere. And I did it in that fall. And then I repeated the dance and theater cycle, and I still didn't get picked to go anywhere. And so, after a year of auditioning and not getting anywhere, I decided that it was time to regroup. And I went to a summer intensive right back to my alma mater at Hofstra University called EMEA. And that dance intensive renewed a strength in me that I really had lost. I kind of had given up hope at that point. You can only be told no so many times before you do start to feel like it is you, and you do start to feel like I have this pointless degree with this pointless purpose on this pointless pursuit of a pointless job. And it is very easy to get stuck in that mindset and to just get stuck, period. And I was. It wasn't until I started getting theater gigs after EMEA, and then those theater gigs compounded into me getting on an arena football team. And I was on that arena football cheerleading team for 2 years. And in my second year, I became the entertainment director. So while cheering, I was also doing a lot of the behind the scenes stuff when it comes to organizing the entire administration. So it really made me think when it comes to building a team, when it comes to building infrastructure, when it comes to creating opportunities and experiences, who gets to tell those stories? Why not me? So instead of waiting to be picked for a concert dance company, I decided to start my own, to tell my own stories, to not just spread the gospel, because I do want to have pieces that spread the gospel, but I also want to have pieces that tell my stories, that tell African stories, that tell Black stories, that tell the stories that I'm waiting for someone else to. But I think it's time that it's my turn, that it is me, not just in this podcast, but also on stage. So stick around, and I'll catch you next time on the LAP Diaries. Please do comment, like, and subscribe. And don't forget to follow me and listen wherever you listen to podcasts on Spotify and Apple Music. You can follow me on Instagram at charlize.martin. You can follow me on TikTok at charlize.martin.dance, and right here on YouTube, the LAP Diaries, as well as the LAP Podcast.
Liberia. I wanna go Liberia.